A day after President William Ruto announced a framework for compensation of protests victims dating back to 2017, the opposition has questioned the legal basis for such a framework. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and his DAP Kenya counterpart Eugene Wamalwa say the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights should oversee the process, faulting Professor Makau Mutua's role and saying the executive cannot be trusted to compensate for protests, as it is accused of being behind those woes. Francis Mtalaki reports from Mombasa.
The opposition, which has been pushing for the compensation of families of victims of protests from the Azimio and the Gen Z demonstrations, says the executive is responsible for the killings and therefore cannot be trusted to handle the compensation process. The protests left more than 60 people dead and scores injured.
Through the shoot to kill and shoot in the leg orders can be the ones to again be responsible for redress and compensation of their own victims of police brutality. A wolf cannot decide matters of the cow crowd. The Swahili say, fisi hawezi kufanya case, kusimamia kesi ya mbuzi.
The rules of natural justice demand impartiality. Victims cannot trust a process led by a presidential appointee whose loyalty is now to the state. The same state that was the aggressor in the Azimio protests 2023, in the Gen Z protests 2024, and in the recent Sabasaba protest.
The opposition is demanding a process with a clear roadmap that seeks to create an inclusive committee that will collect views on how much and who are to be compensated.
We will make sure that these Kenyans are compensated. By the way, there is no budgetary allocation. You cannot therefore jump up and say we'll pay Kenyans, they like to say 100,000 or 10 million. The amount that they will have to pay so that this country be committed to constitutional order and conduct will be punitive. There's such a thing in law as punitive damages, including those people who committed these atrocities.
Kalonzo and Eugene are also demanding the immediate suspension of Professor Makau Mutua's role in the compensation framework, pending court examination of his advisory appointment by President William Ruto. The two opposition leaders calling for transfer of all redress processes to the Kenyan National Commission on Human Rights, citing Article 59(1)(e) of the Constitution. The two further demanding a public disclosure of the legal basis for creating a parallel compensation structure.
The dangling of goodies has just started. Even this Professor Mutua team is just one of the goodies to show that at least they want to compensate the victims. They might not.
The leaders say they will remain united as they prepare to square it out with President William Ruto. The president received a significant boost from ODM leader Raila Odinga, who hinted at the likelihood of supporting him in his 2027 re-election. Francis Mtalaki, Citizen TV, Mombasa.